Dear friends, the FutureTrend channel is again with you, and today, uh, just ahead of a long weekend in the Western countries, as you know, the weekend are associated with celebrations of the Easter. We see that the United States dollar is in the strong demand at the moment. Let's, in two words, analyze the situation and explain what is the reason of current strength of the United States dollar. From the point of view of economic data publications, today is the day of publication of PCE index, which is a very important index, especially for the members of the Federal Open Market Committee, a meeting of the Federal Reserve. As you know, they pay a close attention to this indicator to understand the inflation situation in the country, and they put this kind of indicator as a base for their decisions. Anyway, this is that will happen today, but regarding the day of yesterday, we don't have any kind of very important economic numbers or very important appearances of some of politicians or economic leaders, economic policymakers, central bank policymakers. Also, we see that, for example, the yield of the United States 10-year government papers, treasuries, are on the strong downside at the moment, below 2.8%. And we know that just a couple of weeks ago, the market was ready for the possible test of the important barrier of 3%. So from this point of view, the United States dollar is not so attractive to buy. And we suggest there is two factors. The one factor, the number one, is probably the market is understand that the other part of the developed countries, developed world, I mean, the other part besides of the United States, still not showing any kind of good economic numbers to suggest that respective central banks will pursue a policy of normalizing of their respective policy decisions and monetary policies itself. And also the market is probably started to close that kind of big short dollar positions before the long weekend. That's another reason. From the point of view of Japanese currency and the point of view from risk safe haven currencies like Swiss franc or Japanese yen, we know that the leader of the North Korea came to China, and we know that situation is now started to be quite different comparing to the nearest past. We know that the leader of North Korea is ready to the process of denuclearization, and also he is absolutely free to meet the United States leader, as well as Donald Trump told in his Twitter that he is ready to meet the leader of North Korea. From this point of view, and from the point of view of risk-reward considerations, Japanese yen and Swiss franc started came under significant downside pressure, which we see at the moment. Anyway, we suggest that it's time to wait a little bit, probably for the opening of next week, to understand how the situation will develop, how the market will open on Monday after a long Easter holidays, and that will be quite important for the future, for the nearest, let's say, for the nearest future of the major currencies. As regards our positioning in the major currencies, at the moment we are ready to buy the euro dollar at 22.90 and add on a possible retest of a longer term uptrend line, which today lies around around 22.10. Let's see the graph on the euro dollar. We see that longer term uptrend is at around 122. So we suggest to start buying the euro dollar at 122.90, adding on a possible test of the longer term trend line, and put a stop below the lows of March and current lower threshold of the current range. The euro still trading in around 121.50. To say the truth, from a longer term period of time, the euro dollar still in the middle of the range between 121.50 and 125.50. And from this point of view, probably we are on the route to test the lower side. But anyway, we still suggest that the pair will come off from this barrier, and sooner or later we'll be back to around 124, 125. Taking into account that the underlying trend still bearish for the United States currency. The dollar yen, we closed our position on the stop loss around 106.65. We decided to resell the currency at 106.55, and now we still suggest that while the pair trades below critically important resistance barrier 107.90, the pair should be treated negatively. From this point of view, we will add to our short trade recommendation on a possible retest of 107.90 barrier. We still pursue the bearish strategy in the currency, despite of the financial year-end in Japan, and probably resuming bullish trend in the yen crosses. Anyway, we suggest that that's a little bit premature to say about this turnaround in the yen crosses at the moment, from the lower side to the upper side. Sterling, we also close our position probably at around entry level. And now we suggest to rebuy the currency on a possible retest of psychological important barrier of 140. So we suggest to buy a possible undershooting of 39.90, where is short-term uptrend line, because we still suggest that the cable should sooner or later go higher from here. Anyway, of course, we should understand how the situation will develop, and of course to change our strategy depending on the real situation. The dollar Swiss, we also close our position. We see that the pair still trading below moving average 200 daily line at 0.9657, and from this point of view we still keep our strategy open, the strategy of a future lower